some cracking runs that have really got us on that front foot. And if only we could have turned more of those runs into some tries, do you know what I mean? We might have had some better results or a couple of wins.
Absolutely. Well, we are about ready to kick off here at the Emerald Headingley Stadium. Yorkshire Carnegie playing in the home kit, white with the navy stripes, playing away from the Carnegie end, and London Scottish in their pale blue. Carnegie kick off, and it's fielded just outside the 22-metre line. So London Scottish in possession and looking to try and build something. They're going to go back and kick it through Jacob Perry. Perry kicks it all the way to the Yorkshire 22. Here's Chris Elder, puts a big boot in there. Is he going to find touch? It bounces up nicely, and that was almost a fantastic kick, almost found touch, but the winger Rob Stevenson managed to clear. It did go out on the full, but it's inside the 22. Yorkshire take it quickly, moving out to the left-hand side, and no real room to run there for George Watkins, no real support either. And Yorkshire do retain possession on the halfway line. Like I say, playing towards what would be the away end, but away from the Carnegie end. A good smattering of people in the Carnegie stand, a majority of people in this new South Stand since it was opened a couple of weeks ago. Ollie Fox with the ball at his feet, looking to go for a box kick here, we think. Trying to find some space, does put the ball up high. It's not got a lot of distance on it, but a big chance early on, and it's knocked on in the air, and Yorkshire have a chance to come back at Scottish. Trying to charge to the middle, up to the 10-metre line, right in the centre of the park. Here's the second row, Mike Myerscough. And Myerscough makes a couple of yards there. That's what they need to do, make some big runs, and it's a penalty for holding on. And London Scottish come away there. Disappointing start to the game for...
Yes, I mean, we had some great kicks there. We put them deep. I thought going quickly from the line out was a good option. We just didn't quite get that go forward and that kick on the money there. Chance now to get the ball back at this line out.
Absolutely, and that's something that's been quite good so far this year. We have been stealing a couple of lineouts, especially against Bedford earlier on a couple of weeks ago. They have been quite good going on.
We do that research into teams and look at their options, and we try to get as much competition as we can in there. And like you say, it's an opportunity to win back ball. So why wouldn't you do your research and try and steal some?
So Scottish do manage to retain possession there. It goes to the middle of the lineup, trying to go for a catch and drive. They're on the Carnegie 10-metre line, just inside the 10-metre line, but being driven towards touch here. It's just about taken away in time. There is still a Carnegie player down inside the Bedford half, but we can't quite see who that is at the moment. I think it might be
James Thraves.
James Thraves, it is. But Scottish are coming forward. They're inside the, well, probably about 5 or 6 metres away from the 22. A kick is stabbed through. It's taken nicely here. Here's Chris Elder. Breaks one tackle. He's got space down the right-hand wing. He puts the kick into the centre of the park, and there's no one there for Scottish. Someone gathers now. It's Joe Lucas-Smith looking for some space. A great covering tackle there. Fantastic covering tackle there to stop the attack. But a penalty advantage, I think, for not rolling away. And Scottish once again have possession, but they're inside their own half here, having to go the hard way through the defence. Bit of a flat pass there. I think advantage has been called over. Just as I say that, the penalty is against Yorkshire Carnegie, and that's been a little disappointing so far this season, the penalty count. That's already up to 2 for the hosts.
Yeah, that's one thing that we've spoken about in the week. I mean, Scottish have got a decent driving line out, and the only way they're going to get down into our 22 is through our real discipline. So we've got to get on top of that, and just as we're saying that, it looks like we're getting a change here at prop.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think James Thraves, he's going to have to come off injured. Will Vaughan will be coming on to replace him. So Scottish managed to clear the ball. They're just outside the Carnegie 22. Vaughan making his second appearance of the season, already subbed once this game, or this season I should say, sorry. And it's going to be a line out to the visitors. London Scottish, they managed to get the ball and they go for another carry inside the 22. It's taken away though. Grayson Hart tries to put a man in. And Yorkshire holding the man up just outside the 22. That's a penalty advantage, it's cleared away. But nicely stolen there by Yorkshire, and that's certainly more positive.
Definitely, like we said, get teams in there, we need to stop them. And it's great ball defence there from the boys.
Absolutely, it was a good kick as well. They managed to find some space down the centre, did Chris Elder, but the penalty does come back. And Yorkshire have a big chance to clear their lines. And do you think territory is going to be quite a big factor in this game today?
Yes, I do. I mean, it's a big factor in any game, but as we've just said, I mean, London Scottish have got a decent line-out drive, and they've had 2 line-outs and they've drove 2, so you can kind of see what they're planning to do. So if we can play down their area and down that side of the park, then hopefully should stop them scoring.
Absolutely. So the kick managed to make it just beyond the halfway line to be thrown in by Joe Buckle. They are taking the line as the centre. It's going to be thrown all the way to the back, and it's a good line out, this one. Just about managed to keep it straight to Buckle. Out wide it goes. Here's Chris Elder. A nice floated pass there, trying to find Tom Bullock. He's brought down, still just about on the halfway line. Big drive here from Craig Mitchell, the Welsh international, 32 years old, comes back to Yorkshire Carnegie after a stint at the end of last season. A charge down kick this time from Chris Elder, but it's gathered by Carnegie once again, but they're back on their own 10-metre line. And not held there was George Watkins, so he managed to steal another couple of metres. And now here is Josh Bainbridge trying to make the hard yards. Does make a couple there, and it's thrown into the referee. Yorkshire managed to gather it. The referee thought about blowing for a scrum, but he decided against it in the end. And that ball's been left, and it's straight into the hands of Joe Lucas-Smith. Lucas-Smith is almost in, and he's brought down by a fantastic covering tackle by Tom Bullock. But now London Scottish are on the Carnegie line, trying to burrow their way over. It was a mistaken left ball there that put Scottish in. And now they're charging through the centre of the field, trying to make the hard yards right in front of the post, about 15 metres from the line.
And this is where that penalty count is massive.
Absolutely, trying to avoid the ill discipline, trying to steal the ball. It's there available. Coming still to this right-hand side. Taken in by Varatau. And the scrum half is back in. Grayson Hart trying to find someone, and it's a big drive back here from Josh Bainbridge. And Scottish have been driven outside the Yorkshire 22. Good defence this time from the hosts. Looking to cover around the corner now as Scottish go to the left. There's a bit of an overlap here, and Scottish surely must be in. It's a pass, and he dove for the line. He's given the try, and London Scottish are in for the score. And a disappointing way to give away the first try there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Scottish went through numerous phases there, and we just got sucked in defence, and then some crisp hands on the edge from then allowed them to get in the corner.
Absolutely. It's Stevenson who's gone over for the visitors. The kick is it's on the touchline. It all kind of came from that initial kick from Chris Elder that was blocked, and then there was another high ball that was allowed to bounce and sort of went into no man's land, really. Yeah,
I think it was a great kick cross field. You know what I mean, to put some height on it, give the chasers time to get underneath it. And I'm not sure if it's it doesn't seem that windy out there, but it looked like the winger just completely read it wrong. Do you know what I mean? Brownie there just kind of went past the ball, and it was a lucky bounce for Scottish, and that's what got them away.
Absolutely. Looking at the position of this kick, he is right on the touchline on the far side in front of what will be the new North Stand. We didn't really mention the new North Stand, just very briefly. It's going to be a fantastic facility when it's open. We've seen the E-fits. It's going to be brilliant for the atmosphere when it is eventually open.
Yes, it is. I mean, for both for rugby and cricket. I think one of the third story there that we can see is going to be double glass looking at the rugby and the cricket, so that's going to be an amazing corporate facility. I'm sure that the club will be looking forward to getting open and getting people in.
Absolutely, that's going to be open some point in 2019. The kick was bounced off the upright from the conversion attempts, and the dropout to get us back underway from Andy Forsyth was kicked straight into touch, and that's, again, it's a bit of a disappointment. Not quite ill-discipline, but just a bit of a lack of execution there from Forsyth.
Yeah, it does. I mean, after scoring that try, which I did think our defence was good, we're putting some great shots, and fair play to Scottish scoring, but that first kick's got to be on the money, and we can try and put some pressure on them in their 22 and make them exit. And I mean, fortunate for them, they're now on the halfway with the scrum put in, looking to put some pressure on us.
Well, this is the first scrum of the match so far. We haven't really seen much in the way of forward drives. We've seen a couple of catch and drives from the lineup from Scottish, so it'd be interesting to analyse how this one goes. It's pretty much stayed very still. Out wide to the left they go, a long floated pass this time. That one went to Rob Stevenson, the try scorer, who is brought down. He's inside the Carnegie half, not quite up to the 10-metre line. And the short side, once again, a very flat pass this time, just about in line with us. And out wide they go once again, a couple of offloads, and Scottish almost find themselves in. It's gathered nicely by Lewis Brown. He's just about managed to get Carnegie out of jail there. A big powerful kick here from Forsyth finds a little bit of space. They're on the left-hand side of the field, Scottish in possession. And here goes the other winger, Miles Mantella, looking to try and duck and dive his way through the defence, but they've only made it up to the halfway line. Coming out wide to this right-hand side, trying to drive through the forwards, and Yorkshire trying to roll away, but he can't move out of the way there. And the scrum has been given. It's not been given as a penalty, but I think because it was taken in, it was trapped in. And I think it was George Watkins was a bit clever there. He was trapped in, but he didn't. He just said he was being trapped in. He didn't quite make much of an effort to move, but he managed to get away with that one and just concede the scrum.
Yeah, no, he did. He probably fluttered his eyelashes at the referee or something like that, knowing George. But you can see early on what Scottish are trying to do. Do you know what I mean? They keep coming, using the full width of the pitch, really coming into the fives and then attacking them blind sides. It's obviously something that they've seen, so we'll have to make sure we keep numbering up correctly on these blind sides.
Another scrum here, and it looks like Mitchell's got the better of his opposite number on the far side of the scrum. That looks a bit of a forward pass, but the referee says nothing doing, as Scottish come forward with the ball inside the Carnegie half, as Mark Bright, the captain, is brought down on the 10-metre line, going wide once again, trying to find some space, as Matt Williams is brought down. He managed to beat one or two tacklers. And through the centre, very distinctive yellow scrum cap for Byron Hodge there. Another drive for Mark Wright here. Out wide, that comes a very flat pass this time. Goes into Miles Mantella. And now, once again, London Scottish are spreading the defence either side of the field. And Yorkshire holding the defensive line quite nicely at the moment. A bit of a late hit there, but a good shot by. But forward comes Scottish. They've got the man over. It's going to be another try, or is it? So close. And just managed to sneak over there. And chase was on, but it's Miles Mantella who's going to come away with the try. And that's another example of London Scottish breaking through the line.
Yeah, I mean that's just a missed tackle there. I mean, we've done everything there. We're on the halfway line defending well. Pete Lucock's gone up and got his man. He's managed to get the pass away, and I think it's George Watkins there. It's done great line speed and got up in the lad's face. He's just missed the tackle, and fair play to them. They've finished it off nicely from that break, to be honest.
Yeah, straight in front of the post as well. So we could be seeing the score move up to 12-0. Currently 10 after that second try. 13 minutes played here at Emerald Headingley. And it sailed straight through the post there, and not the perfect start to the game there, Matt.
No, definitely not. I mean, as we said, we talked about field position, and they just seem to be having it at the moment. We've had one line out, and that was on the halfway. We had no action in their half at all, and that's where we need to be playing the rugby.
Almost as if it's playing as a Scottish home game with the amount of possession that they've had. The ball is, well, I think he's pretty much made sure he's kept that in field this time, as Forsyth didn't want to make the same mistake again. The Scottish are inside their own 22 here. Are they going to go straight for the clearance? They're going to go for a bit of a catch and drive first, trying to find some space. Out the back it comes to Perry once again, very close to charging it down there. It stayed on the pitch though. Can Carnegie come back? There's a bit of a defensive line, a bit of a high kick now here from Carnegie, trying to find some space, and it's been dropped, and there's a big chance here for Yorkshire. It's been sent inside and so close. I think the pass was just down by the ankles, and now Scottish have a chance to try and maybe sort some form of counter-attack. Breathless stuff there for just a second, but I think it's been given originally as a knock-on, and that's the first real moments of promise we've seen for Yorkshire.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a great kick by Louis Brown there, just like we were trying to do in the first instance where he misread it, but that's a perfect kick on the money, and great pressure to force the error from the Scottish fullback there.
Absolutely, and you look at the field position now. Yorkshire have the scrum inside the 22. They've got to come away with some form of points here.
This is what it is now. It's all about keeping the pressure on. So we've got the scrum here. Let's have a solid scrum. If we get a penalty, fantastic. If not, we give it to the backs, but we need to get through some phases and do what Scottish have been doing well so far in the game.
Interesting setup is here as well. Almost a two-tiered back line here for Carnegie. As you can see Chris Elder out on this touchline. There's a penalty here for Yorkshire. That's gone against Jordan Brodley, bringing the scrum down on this near side. And Yorkshire, I think, might just go full corner here, trying to get some points back on the board. Obviously, the line-out has been pretty good so far this year.
We're going for it. Maul. Let's have a drive.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love a good Friday night drive? You're here at Emerald Headingley Stadium. BBC Radio Leeds, Tom Clayton and Matt Smith here for you. It's currently Yorkshire Carnegie 0, London Scottish 12. The ball comes in from the line out. A big opportunity here, and the ball almost being driven back there to start with, and it's stopped, and here come Carnegie driving forward. A big heave called from the crowd, looking to try and find something. It's driving more towards touch at the moment. It's more sideways than forwards. But Yorkshire still driving. It's been collapsed, so it's going to be a penalty advantage to the hosts. There's a penalty this time, but hands in the ruck it's called in the end. I think there were two penalty offences there by London Scottish, and Yorkshire Carnegie can once again set up the catch and drive.
Yep, exactly. It was a good build there. We just needed to get it going a little bit sooner, but great build, and I say we managed to get the penalty, so we go again.
Go again, this time a little bit closer in, pretty much on the 5-metre line. So a throw from Joe Buckle, a full line-out called. And Ollie Fox has taken a position almost 10 metres away from the line-out. He's very confident that they are going to go for the catch and drive. It's formed up, and they're going to turn it around. And Yorkshire, are they still massive bodies in there at the moment? It's made it out of them all. And Fox has the ball in his hands. He gives it to the right in front of the post here at Carnegie, and it's dropped by Bainbridge, but it has gone backwards. And a bit of a high challenge there, as Yorkshire are driven all the way back. It is a penalty advantage for the high tackle. He's going to put it out wide, going for a real kick here. It's a bit ambitious, but they are going to go back for the penalty. Now, we saw season that actually pay off against Richmond. Had he managed to pull it off there, that would have been very spectacular indeed.
Yeah, I remember the try. Like I say, every team will have a plan. If you get a penalty advantage, it's a chance to do something, go something special. And when it's on the money, them crossfield kicks, they're pretty difficult to defend, and especially with someone like Chris Elder at his height and his athleticism. There's no better man to kind of go for it. So sometimes they come off, and in that instance it didn't, but knowing that we have the penalty, we're able to go to the corner again, which we've done. And
you have to say the penalty count is actually up for Scottish. It's 4-2. Scottish have 4, Yorkshire only have 2. So actually pretty good discipline so far. A couple of crucial penalties given away by Carnegie, but they do start this attack from the 5-metre line.
I think what we've got to do now, though, is take advantage of this.
Be very disappointing not to come away with any points from this. In it comes, it's gone all the way through, it's sailed away, and London, I think that was just a bit of a miscommunication in the line-out, and Yorkshire going to come away with no points from that excursion. Disappointing for, well, to say the least, really.
Yeah, we talk about pressure, didn't we, and how we needed to maintain it and come away with something, and up to that point we had, but we just kind of released that valve, and Scottish get to push us close to their 10-metre line now, and we start again.
Well, at this point as well, 3 penalties in the 22. Would you be tempted on the third occasion just to go for the points, get some points on the board?
That's one option, obviously. I mean, the lads on the pitch will have a feeling of how it's going and how they feel inside that maul, so they kind of make the choice. But yeah, there's an option there which the leaders on the pitch will talk about.
Ball comes in, this time it's just about gathered, nicely done there at the back of the line by Elliot Ward. Yorkshire are still inside the London Scottish half. They're coming down the short side with Dan Tem. Here's Lewis Brown, who's brought down just by the touchline, just in front of us here. And Fox comes out wide again. Good hands this time, almost the perfect line there from, I think that was Josh Bainbridge who almost picked it out.
Great tip from Will Britton there to put him through that hole.
And once again, Yorkshire trying to play down the short side, moving towards the right-hand side of the pitch as Tom Bullock gets in on the action. Again, spreading the ball a bit similar to what London Scottish were doing, a bit of a poor pass there. And I think Scottish has turned back onto Yorkshire's side there. As Bainbridge bobbles the ball, makes a couple of yards with the run though. Ball back, they go back to the right-hand side. Ward once again running through the centre, and this time holding on, and discipline quickly becoming a factor in this game for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, we've not really gone anywhere there. I know in the week we said if we're around that midfield area and we're not really going forward, let's look at putting a kick to compete or a kick to find some grass and put the pressure back on them, as we spoke about. But unfortunately now, as the kick goes down, what's that, 10 metres inside our 22 now, they've got a line out, so you can see how easily it can flip, and currently we're losing that battle there.
Absolutely, and that was a monster of a kick from the halfway line to about 15 metres from the line. That's a hell of a boot from Joe Perry there, or Jacob Perry I should say, sorry. Now Scottish do have the line outs, 15 from the try line, going to here this evening. Go straight to the front, and as we expected, catch and drive here from the visitors. It's driven nowhere though. I think that's going to find its way almost into touch, but it's just about salvaged in time by Grayson Hart. The Scottish looking to try and do something with possession. Run here from Jared Saunders trying to make some yardage, but he loses about a metre with that. Big run here through the centre from the second row, Owen Evie. Scottish knocking on the door of Carnegie's line. Up to about 10 metres away from the line now as they come down the short side. There's not a lot of support down there. That's driven through the centre, but I think that's going to be a penalty earlier on. Is 2 penalties in 2 minutes, and the penalty count is even.
Yep. And they get they're in good field position, aren't they, from there? It's so easy to see how being ill-disciplined or giving those penalties away, you go from, we had a line out 5 metres from their try line, and one error there, another error for holding on, and now they're 5 metres from our try line, and it's so important.
Absolutely, and you said earlier on it can change in a matter of seconds. It certainly has changed in just a few minutes. Obviously 23 minutes played so far in this first half. Current score is Yorkshire Carnegie 0, London Scottish 12, live from Emerald Headingley Stadium with Tom Clayton and Matt Smith for Radio Leeds. And it's been an interesting game. We're just going to have a quick break. I think one of the Scottish players is just walking a bit gingerly off the field, and there's going to be a substitute as Craig Duncan is going to make his way onto the pitch. I think that might just be Henry Veretout who's coming off. I think it is. So we get ready to set up for this defensive lineup for Yorkshire Carnegie. And a round of applause who's making his way off. In this kind of situation, you've been here before where you're defending on the 5 metre line. What's the mentality? What do you have to do when you know there's a big catch and drive coming?
But it's just it's talking it up, making sure that everyone know their roles within the system, and making sure that they don't get over. There's a lot of talk of we do not let them score, and we'll be hitting this, as you can see there, getting them going backwards, and that's fantastic ball defence there from the boys.
It is indeed. The line-out went to the front, and Carnegie driving it, trying to find touch with it. It has found touch, but a penalty has been given against for dragging it down. And that's a bit of a disappointing call. We thought it was going to go for touch, but Carnegie instead pulled up for pulling the line-out down.
Yeah, I think it just has. He's tried to sack it, and he's probably done it a bit too late. And as the referee's right in this case, it's but we get another chance now to stop them again.
Absolutely,
which we did fantastically there.
Yeah, hopefully we can see them defend in the same ilk. And this time it comes in once again. It's taken to the middle, so Scottish trying to keep it away from the touchline. Yorkshire driving it backwards though. It's gone to ground, and Scottish trying to break through the middle. Out wide it comes to the backs now. And Scottish trying to call for players to come round the corner, make something of this attack. They are in front of the posts here, and Yorkshire having to defend. As Grayson Hart puts it out wide, it's found its way out to Matt Williams. And this time to the substitute, Craig Duncan. Duncan's driven in. They're about 10 metres from the line. Fortunately here at Headingley we do have the faded lines from the rugby league pitch, so we can tell when they're around 10 metres from the line. Out wide it comes once again. It's a bit of a 2-on-1, and it's a great tackle there.
And Louis Brown, that.
Louis Brown indeed, and he's managed to win the penalty as well. And that is fantastic play there from the Yorkshire fullback. And he played a bit of a risk there coming in off the wing, and just about managed to get away with it.
He did. I think that's exactly what George Watkins was trying to do earlier when they broke through. Just this time he stuck the tackle, he put a hell of a shot in, and we get the turnover, we get the penalty. So fantastic shot from him there, and good solid defence there. We're marching them back slowly, and eventually we force the penalty. So outstanding.
Absolutely. The line out is going to be fielded on the 22, on the 10-metre line, sorry. So not bad field position made there by Forsyth. Forsyth obviously not the usual kicker from hand, but he's doing a good job so far this evening. As Carnegie have the line out inside their own half, and it's over on that far side, on the north side of the pitch. Buckle to throw. Where's he going to pick out this time? Plenty of movement from either side. It goes to the back of the line. Nice dummy there for the front lifter. Bit of a catch and drive. It's dragged down. It's just emerged into a maul, and that's been carried in. It's locked in, and Scottish come away with the scrum this time. At least it's not a penalty.
It's a great line out, and we've got going forward, and somehow one of their players has managed to get in there and lock that up and take it to the deck, and so they get a scrum, and that's just another instance of us kind of just letting them off the hook there.
Absolutely. The scrum has been pretty good so far for Cardiff this evening. Just need to try and drive them back a little bit, try and be a bit more forceful going forward in the especially up front in the front five.
Yeah, I think this is probably our second put in. The first time we had a scrum inside their 22 and we get a penalty. So hopefully we can get after their ball a little bit here. From the previous scrum, Scottish I think have tried getting it in and out, as Bright does again.
And a good chance here is a bit of a shot there from Forsyth, brings his man down. But it's Scottish who have the ball inside the Carnegie half. It's a wide pass this time. It's gone backwards, and a bit of a kick through here from Ollie Fox. You don't have to let the man who goes down on the ball up anymore. And Yorkshire steal the ball, and it's legal. Bit of a chance now for them. They've got men over on the far side. Here's Forsyth, stabs a kick through, managed to find touch just inside the Scottish 22, and that's not a bad result from that in the end.
No, it's not. It's a great turnover there. I think it was Craig Mitchell got his hands on the ball when the ruck became open. We get the turnover, and then we put it down into their 22. This is a chance now, as I said, for us to steal a line out and get some good field position.
Absolutely, and as we were saying earlier on, the line-out steal has been pretty good so far for Yorkshire this season. But London just taking the time to get into the line-out, maybe maybe just being a little lethargic. They did come out of the blocks like at a lightning pace. 11.5 minutes to play in this first half here at Emerald Headingley Stadium. Current score: Yorkshire 0, London Scottish 12. 2 tries, one from Rob Stevenson, one from Mantella. About 4 minutes apart, inside 15 minutes. It's gone backwards from Scottish inside the lineup, but they do have a chance to clear here. Is it going to be a box kick, or is it going to go all the way back? There's 2 players seemingly scrapping there, two of the players between Yorkshire and London, but it's been given away. Yorkshire managed to keep the ball in field.
Got some numbers on the edge if you can get it there.
Got to go for quick ball here. Here's Forsyth looking straight out wide, and it's a bit of a miss pass here. Here's Lucock. Lucock's got his man. He drives him back there. So Mantella doesn't quite get what he wanted. But Yorkshire are back inside their own half. He just about holds on to it there. How on earth did Mike Myerscough manage to hold on to that? That was probably the best hand you'll see from any forward this season.
He was doing a juggling act there, wasn't he? But luckily he manages to keep hold of it. And now we go for a box kick. See the wingers chasing now. Chris Elder underneath it.
Elder's going for it. Oh, very close. It was 2 pairs of hands on the ball. And now a chance for Joe Lucas-Smith to try and break Scottish on their left-hand side. What can they do to try and pull something through? It's another missed tackle here as Rob Stevenson breaks further inside, about 30 metres from the line. Not quite inside the 22. A big charging tackle there on Uanivi. Out wide once again. It's a bit of a backwards low pass, and a chance here for Chris Elder, who's picked up the ball on the inside. He's got Andy Forsyth, who's gone back to Chris Elder, and Chris Elder's going to go all the way for a try for Yorkshire Carnegie. And a brilliant break there from Chris Elder, and Andy Forsyth, and Carnegie are back in this game.
Yeah, fantastic there from the boys. I mean, that's some lovely hands from both Chris and from Fuzzy there. So fantastic, and great pace from Chris Elder to get in there in the corner. Well done.
Absolutely, and that shows shows how important support is in this game as well. They went for it. The gap was there, and Forsyth knew he had to be on the inside. And Chris Elder did a great job getting back behind his man to get the backwards pass in before he made that break. He
did. I mean, we just forced the area. That's good defence. We're playing there. Scottish there are trying to play on our 10-metre line, and just outstanding defence. We forced the error, and we're on it first, and we get a try from it, and that's what can happen. That's how quickly it can turn. So well done to the boys.
Elder lining up to convert his own kick. 10 metres in from touch, just outside the 22-metre line. Tough kick, this one. Bit of an awkward one. Doesn't seem to be too much of a gale blowing. Looking at the trees at the back of the away end. Elder steps up, just pulled it left of the post, so it remains at Yorkshire Carnegie 5, London Scottish 12, and well, it's something that Yorkshire needed before that.
Definitely. I mean, it'll give us confidence going in. We know we've not taken the most of our chances when we've been in there, and that was a little bit of a try from nothing. But when you've got the quality of players like Forsyth and Chris Eldridge, I mean, things can happen. So let's hope we can take this restart cleanly and get back down their end.
And Scottish were very advanced towards the ball, but a chance here for Carnegie to clear their lines. Doesn't quite find touch here from inside the 22, but London Scottish are well within, down the throat of I think that's Tom Bullock, who's made his way over to this side. He's kicked it from inside his own 22-metre line and just in front of the halfway line. So Carnegie still just about inside their own half, but with 7.5 minutes to play, they'll maybe looking to steal the ball back from this once again.
Yep, definitely. We seem to be getting up in the right area. Scottish have just a little bit sooner on these line-outs, so if we can get there a little bit quicker, hopefully we can get a steal, because like I say, we're getting very close to it.
Plenty of men in the line, 6 men called it. No, there's 7 o'clock. Couldn't quite see Craig Mitchell at the back there, just being shielded by Elliot Ward. The referee's not happy with something. The referee this evening, Anthony Woodthorpe. The 2 assistants, Jamie Leahy and Somin Park. Woodthorpe not happy with something there, so he's call it back. They will have a chance to put in this time. Very nearly stolen there from Will Britton. And now out wide they come once again. Almost a missed tackle, just about brought down from Josh Bainbridge. The Scottish have the ball inside the Carnegie half. Once again trying to keep it inside the middle of the park this time as they move it out to the left-hand side now. Plenty of men over on that left-hand side being held up as it stands. Turned into a maul. The Scottish are driving forward and Yorkshire will have the ball. That's a brilliant tackle in the end. I think it was by Dan Tem who managed to hold the man up.
Yeah, I think it was Dan Tem and Pete Lucock, and Pete's doing his signature moves of getting out and banging people in defence, and even though he's missed a few weeks, he's straight back on it at the moment, putting some great shots in.
And we were talking before the game as well about how he's influential in this side. So far, what have you seen from his leadership ability in this game? He's really brought something slightly different to the match.
He just leads the line in defence. I mean, as we said, he's getting off the line with some great line speed to put their skill under pressure. And every time they come down his channel, he's making some great tackles. And when he's got ball in hand, he's forcing them to defend him.
And Yorkshire have the penalty from the scrum this time. Tried to take it quickly, did Ollie Fox, but it was just taken away from him. So that's 6 penalties by London Scottish to Yorkshire's 5. It's quite close in terms of the discipline factors.
I think we're getting dominance there at scrum time. You noticed, as I said before, every time London Scottish have got a scrum, they want to get it in and out, whereas every time we've had one, I think we've had a penalty.
Absolutely, and it's not quite made touch, hasn't that kick? They went for the distance. It was just inside the 22, but it didn't quite make it all the way out to touch. And this one has gone into touch. Scottish came back, and it was Dewey Iwanivi who had the ball in his hands when he was dragged out into touch. And Yorkshire do eventually have the line out, but this time on the Scottish 10-metre line.
Yeah, just back to the point about the scrum there. As I said, I think trying to get some dominance up there. Every time we've had our put in, I think we've had 2 penalties from 2 scrums. So hopefully we can keep that dominance going. Obviously having Craig Mitchell in there and Will Vaughan is really getting us some dominance. So hopefully we can keep that going forward, get us in the corner at some point.
Well, Yorkshire starting to come back into this game. They had that moment of defence where they kept Scottish out on the 5-metre line, probably around 10 minutes ago now, and then they bounced back with a Chris Elder try. It's just gone through the hands once again, and Scottish have the ball. It's been given as a knock-on. 2 knock-ons in there eventually, and there's a bit of a scrap going on there between the 2 sides. It's all players in, so while they're doing that, we'll have a quick chat. In terms of the lineup, we've missed a couple of times, particularly when we're going to the back today.
Yeah, I think it's just as we're chatting and we see it kicking off here with both teams. It's almost like an ice hockey full bench is off here.
I was going to say Conor McGregor will be running on soon, won't he?
Yeah, but back to the line out, it's just fingertips at the moment. I mean, as I said, we're putting some great competition against Scottish line out. They're also doing it against ours, and on that one it was just fingertips, and I think it was Elliot Ward at the tail there. But these are the things, these are the areas where you just, those little things let teams off and take away field position. Obviously, whatever the referee concludes from this little scuffle, we'll see. But obviously, it's now a set piece to London Scottish. It's just, let's hope we can get that scrum dominance I spoke about earlier and really get into them at their ball.
Well, if Carnegie do manage to turn this ball over in the scrum, they will have good field position. But we're just waiting to see what the referee is having a chat to his touch official with that. Obviously there was a bit of a scuffle. I don't know if that's going to turn into a penalty for either side or if that's going to go back to the scrum, because it looked like pretty much everyone was in there, and I didn't see personally how that started, but the referee going over to have a chat to the captains. Looks like he's having a chat to
yeah, there's Joe Buckle there from the Yorkshire side, and I can't see who it is from.
I think it might be Grayson Hart who stood there.
Is that it? Yeah. I'm sure they had it's a little cuddle probably.
It's all handbags out in Leeds on a Friday night. I'm sure you'll see plenty of that in Headingley. It's a student night after all.
Cheers, and there we go. Referee's come to his senses, and it's a little talking to there, and we're back on with the game.
It's not been a particularly fiery match in that regard, but it has been quite physical. Maybe the temper's just starting to flare with that, maybe.
As we spoke before, do you know what I mean? It's a big game, and they'll see, they know that as much as we do. So, end of the day, it's rugby, isn't it? So, these things happen.
Absolutely is. Scottish will have the put in on their own 10-metre line for the original knock-on. So, like I say, if Yorkshire do manage to steal this ball, they are in very good position. But it's gone straight back into the feet of Mark Bright, trying to hold it there. A big driving effort here from Yorkshire, trying to make the ball go back, but the scrum was going nowhere. They're coming out to the left-hand side here. Kicks put through, and there's no one at home. And it's just about bounced in field and gone out to touch. But a bit of a shaky moment there, and Chris Elder was a bit lucky there.
Yeah, I mean, they've got off the edge. You know what I mean? In terms of our boys, Yorkshire, we've got on and we've put some good line speed again. It's a good kick from the fullback for Scottish there, from Smith. But we've now got a line out and hopefully a chance to exit.
Joe Buckle with the throw, about halfway between the 10-metre and 22-metre lines on this south side. It's put into the hands of Dan Tem. And Yorkshire have a big catch and drive here. They're driving towards touch though, so they've got to stay away there. Ollie Fox has got the ball in his hands now. Out wide it comes to Will Britton. Britton's brought down. Fox, I think, is going to line up for another box kick. He's calling his men in to get a bit of space. And the last couple of times, Byron Hodge has been quite close to charging that down as he goes close again there. It's gone high, a chance here for Elder to take, and Elder does take it nicely. Oh, and he spilled it forward. And a big mistake there, as London Scottish are going to look to go out to their left-hand side, try and find the space. It's back into the hands of Yorkshire Carnegie, though. The advantage was called over once Scottish had the ball back in the hands and they were coming forward. As Yorkshire have possession just about on the halfway line, as time has run out here in the first half. And here's Lewis Brown trying to find some space. He makes a couple of yards there.
It's nice. A great carry from Louis Brown there. He's managed to wriggle through about 4 men, but that's a good 20 metres gained.
Absolutely, and Carnegie just about breaking over the halfway line. And the next stoppage, I think we will be going to half-time. It's going to come out wide, and Chris Elder's called for a kick through. It's not gone quite as close as he would have wanted at this stage, and Elder's going to try and make the tackle, but Scottish have possession of the ball. I thought Craig Mitchell had stolen the ball for a second there, but Grayson Hart looking like he's going to go for the box kick now. Pressure on, and here is the big man Oanivi trying to make a bit of field position, bit of a catch and drive. I say loosely there, trying to charge through the centre, through the forwards, and the ball's been, I think the ball almost was stolen there. There's good effort there by Dan Tem, and I think Grayson Hart's going to go for the box kick this time. He does put it up into the air, trying to catch Forsyth out, and Forsyth almost loses the ball. Another juggling act. I'll tell you what, this Yorkshire side wouldn't be out of place at the circus, the amount of juggling that's been going on this evening. Big chance here to do something before the half. Another try would be perfect for Carnegie's game for the rest of the match here. Fox puts another high ball in.
I think both teams just round these the 2 10-metre lines.
Oh, they are.
So we can get it moving. It's on out wide.
It is on out wide. He's going to try and break through the middle. He does break through the middle this time. And Yorkshire almost onto the halfway line. That's seconds. Sorry, not the halfway, the 22. Looking to come to the left. Ollie Fox looks like he pulled up a little bit there, though, for a second. That might be a concern if he doesn't get up. But Yorkshire once again driving. Fox has got back to his feet. Ball's coming out wide once again. Lukoc managed to break a tackle. A nice inside ball. It's been gathered by Myerscough. And Yorkshire inside the 22-metre line now. Bit of a stab through, trying to find something, and it's just been touched down. It is going to be a 22 dropout. And that's going to be half-time. And an interesting first half there. 2 tries in visitors, London Scottish. Rob Stevenson and Miles Mantella going over, one out wide, one under the post. Jacob Perry, only converting one of those tries. Then Chris Elder and Andy Forsyth coming back with a fantastic counter-attack to bring the score back to 5-12. And the score at half-time is 5 points to 12.
Which went really well for us. Just showed how I think we need to play the remaining 40 minutes. High tempo, quick pace, fast ball, and that's what seems to be getting us space and gaps to actually attack.
Absolutely, as the ball is kicked off to get us underway for this second half of rugby. It was kicked away initially by Chris Elder, but it's been kicked all the way back. That's a hell of a boot all the way back to Louis Brown, as Brown again puts another kick in. This one not quite making it up to halfway. A bit of kick tennis to start us off for the second half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a fantastic kick from there, lad. He's got a big boot on him. But I think Louis done well to field that, and he's put a decent kick himself back down, and now Scottish have a chance line out just inside our half. So let's hope we can either get a steal or stop it if they go for the drive.
Like I say, Tom Clayton and Matt Smith. Matt, one of the second rowers for Carnegie, joining us up in the box this evening. Something we're not seeing yet, a line out that's not gone for a catch and drive by London Scottish. They do retain possession inside the Yorkshire half at the moment. Bit of a run here from Mark Bright. No changes at half time, I can't see. But we do have that early change. Craig Duncan, he came on for Veratau in the centres for Scottish, and obviously we had a change for Carnegie as well, as Thraves went off. The ball's being held up, and Yorkshire Carnegie have stolen it. It's gone backwards. I think it was originally coming from a knock-on by London Scottish, and Yorkshire, like I say, they've had 2 scrum put-ins and 2 penalties from those scrums. They've got to assert that dominance in the second half.
Yeah, this is a great field position halfway. If we can get a penalty here, we march them down into their 22, and that's the game. That's the game we want to play. We want to get some dominance up front, back to what we used to, what we're all about, really, and hopefully we can do it here.
So Yorkshire have the put in on the halfway line, just off centre. Like I say, we're just about back underway. The scrum's gone straight down again. The referee's, I think, going to give him a chance to get back into this second half. Obviously not blowing the whistle quite as keenly as he was before.
It's another good engage from Yorkshire there, though. Will Vaughan on the loose head side really got forward. I think Scottish are just crumbling there, just under the pressure.
Craig Mitchell just walking off. He's, I think he might have gone down a bit awkwardly in that scrum. Obviously being careful. It's his first game back for the club. Obviously finished the season with Carnegie last year. He's re-signed this week. He's straight back into the starting lineup. Former Welsh international Craig Mitchell. Really shows the experience and the strength he brings to this side, doesn't he?
Yes, definitely. I mean, another penalty.
Another penalty there. And that's the first penalty of the second half. It's the 7th of the match for London Scottish. And something that's, in a way, it's surprising. Yorkshire haven't been as bad in penalties. 7-5 at the moment in favour of Yorkshire. And that is an absolute monster of a kick. He's kicked it from halfway there, as Andy Forsyth, to 10 metres from the line. How good a kick was that?
Fantastic. This is what we said. We wanted to scrum at the penalty, at the scrum, and then wanted to kick the corner, and we'll hopefully get a drive on and roll on. That's the plan, as easy as that.
7 men in the line out for Carnegie. Buckle to throw. It's held in the air for a while, and it's a poor throw from Buckle. And London Scottish come away with it and have a chance to clear. I think they're inside the 22. Or as you said, it's been carried back, the referee. I think they're just trying to work that out at the moment. Bit of a drive here from London Scottish. An early let-off there. And disappointing as Yorkshire should have really made something more of that. And it's Grayson Hart who puts the high kick in. It's kicked all the way out. A line out to Yorkshire, but this time a little further away on the 10-metre line, still inside the London Scottish half.
It's just disappointing, isn't it? Obviously, we've done all the hard work we've got down there, and it's I think it's just an overthrow from Joe. We let them off again, and
Absolutely.
that's the story of this game so far. Really, I think if we can take our chances, we're in a good place.
You sort of think Yorkshire would be not cruising, but they would be ahead. It's not straight throw this time. It's knocks backwards. But it's going to be a scrum, and or it could be a scrum, or it could be a line-out. I think they are going to go for the scrum of London Scottish. And in a sense, that's actually quite good news for Yorkshire.
Yeah, because there's another chance to to go at them. But as we've seen, Scottish have got the ball nice and quick from the put into the back near to Bright. So. Get a good engage and put them under some pressure here. Stop them getting it so smooth.
So 6 minutes played in this second half already. Engage is good at both sides, and you can see the early nudge on there from Yorkshire. But the scrum's holding scrum this time. And Scottish coming out wide once again. Step inside this time from Craig Duncan. Duncan's held up. And I think, oh, that was almost stolen. Good tip inside this time for Lewis Wynn.
That's Pete Lucock slowing the ball down there again, just time and tackle.
And Mike Myerscough is currently gingerly getting back to his feet. Looks like he's holding his right wrist in a bit of a funny way. Ball is thrown back from Scottish. It's put straight back down the throat of Yorkshire. If they let that go, that could go up for a scrum all the way back. And it's going to be a 22, I think, in the end. Because it was touchdown, it didn't quite find the dead ball line. And they've taken the 22 quickly. A bit of a high challenge there. And it's a penalty advantage. Big chance here, a break is on. And it's Mike Myerscough who got his way through. And Yorkshire all of a sudden are on the halfway line. A good 20 metres made from that break from Mike Myerscough, who again is quite gingerly getting back to his feet. In the meantime, Yorkshire on the attack. Ollie Fox puts it in for Britain. Britain taken down inside the London Scottish half. A pass back inside. And as a penalty this time again. That's interesting call there. It looked as if Scottish didn't quite let that go as easy as they should have done, and the referees called Yorkshire against, or called it against Yorkshire for holding on. I think it's against Will Britton. And one of the physios just going out to see Mike Myerscough just to make sure he is all right. He is.
He's a tough lad though. Is Mike? He'll keep going there, and as you've seen, that's a great carry. I think he got up, shaking his shoulder off, and next thing you know, he's making a 10-15 metre break. So
substitution here being made by Yorkshire Carnegie and also by London Scottish. Dylan Donnellan's coming on for Joe Buckle. In the meantime, as well, Ollie Dorr seems to be coming on for Jordan Brodley. So 2 front row changes, 1 for either side there.
Yeah, and just looking there, it looks like Dylan has come on for Elliot Ward there. So we've pushed Joe Buckle into the back row. Interesting
change though. I thought that was going to be Joe Buckle coming off. Obviously, Donnellan down as the replacement hooker. Buckle is not pleased with himself though, as the ball is almost stolen in the air. And Yorkshire could have nearly stolen the ball from that line-out. Big challenge coming in from Pete Lucock there, as Scottish have been driven back over the 22, just on the edge of Yorkshire's territory here. looking for some space once again. They come down the left. Here's the new man, Ollie Dorr, who's driven back by Joe Buckle, the new flanker. And still working down this left side. They work it back in field now. Yorkshire trying to hold it off. The defence has been quite good so far this evening for the hosts. No yardage made at all here in these skirmishes. And you sort of feel Scottish have got to go out wide to make any form of ground here. They do go out wide this time. Looking to find some space. Elder makes the tackle though. And it's an advantage here, I think, for slowing down the play. That's
unlucky, that, because the Scottish must be into their 10th phase now, and they're still on the Carnegie 22. So that's great defence. Just I'm not sure what the referees called it for there.
Penalty eventually has been given. I think it was
not rolling away, was it?
Not rolling away by the looks of it.
That's a shame. Actually, as I just said, it's a great defensive set, and they've not gone anywhere. So we're doing everything right then. And now they've kicked to the corner and a chance to set up another maul, I imagine.
Absolutely is. They didn't quite make it to the 5 metre line. They were at 10 metres or so from the Yorkshire line, attacking away from the Carnegie stand, playing from our right to left. Scottish in their traditional light blue, and Carnegie in their whites with the navy blue stripes. Straight to the front here as the drive trying to get started. It's not going forwards. If anything, that's going sideways towards the line. And now Scottish do drive towards the line. An opportunity for the visitors. Stopped though. And the ball's come out there. A bit of an excursion towards the line. I think that was James Tyus. And once again, they're trying to find the gaps out wide. And that's going to be a penalty to Yorkshire for not releasing. And that was well played. And I think that's Dan Tem who's got in there to steal. No, it's Pete Lucock. Once again, we've said his name so many times. He's been an absolute dynamo for Carnegie this evening.
We said that before the game, do you know what I mean? The impact that he has defensively tonight, he's been outstanding. Do you know what I mean? That's his trademark, but he's just been marching lads back. Anybody who runs down his channel, and he gets a good turnover there to help slow it down. But that is Pete Lucock, and that's why he's so thought after at this club.
There was a slight pause in play as I think Craig Mitchell was just receiving a little bit of attention. Great night for him to come back, and his experience has been used vastly so far in this match. 12 minutes into the second half. And Yorkshire, you have to say their goal line defence has been very good. Their defence as a whole, apart from a couple of missed tackles in the first half, if not, Scottish wouldn't have got anywhere near.
Exactly. I mean, we spoke a minute ago, it was just that penalty that we gave away, and that seems to be the thing. We're not giving too many penalties away, but the ones we are giving are just allowing them to either put them in field position or let us off. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a matter of keeping white and backing the lads to do the jobs, because currently, as you said, as a team, defensively we're in a good place.
An interesting call here as well. They're going to go with Dylan Donnellan to throw in at the line. Do you think that might be the change that was needed in the lineup, because the throws haven't been quite hitting the mark this time?
Yeah, I think sometimes, you know what I mean, as a hooker, you can get if you have one bad one, it's sometimes difficult to shake that off, and maybe a couple. Dylan is Dylan's got some great arrows on him, and that's probably one of his expertise. That is his accuracy at the line out, and I'm sure the coaching staff have thought to get him on to shore that up.
Box kick from the line. It's going to be a knock-on advantage, and Yorkshire have a bit of a chance to break down the left-hand side. The ball has found its way into touch, but it's inside, crucially, the London Scottish 22, probably around 15 or so metres from the line, and it looks as if JB Brazulia will be coming onto the field as well. Ollie Fox is going to be making his way in. You have to say Fox has not had a bad game today.
No, he's not. I mean, Fox is a young talent, and he plays with a great tempo, and that's why he's been picked for tonight. He's probably just tired a little bit. I think he maybe got a knock earlier that we mentioned. He's just tired a little bit, but JB will come on and hopefully match that speed and keep the tempo going.
Brasilia, of course, scored a wonderful try against London Irish last weekend. We'll talk a bit less about that game though. But Scottish managed to gather their own line out inside the 22. Going for the box kick here. They don't make a huge amount of yards. It's going to go up for Chris Elder to take. He's just about managed to gather it, but it's found its way into touch. It's taken quickly, and London Scottish have sought out a bit of a counter-attack. It's been knocked forward, and it's almost going to come through. Oh, so close. It is going to be a whistle, and it is going to be a scrum. And a couple more handbags here. But you have to say, that was great pressure on the attack there. And once again, it's that man, Pete Lucock, who's come in to force the issue. And, well, Yorkshire can try to keep up their 100% penalty ratio from their own scrums here.
It's probably just the vision of Pete Lucock that got the lad to knock it on there, I think. It's just an error from the London Scottish fullback, I think it was, and luckily we get a chance now inside the Scottish 22 to have a scrum, and as you just said, let's hope we can get another penalty and maybe put it in the corner and see if this time we can get a try.
Levi Douglas comes on. I think it's in place of Byron Hodge. That's a change for our visitors, London Scottish. The whistle blowing once again. I don't think the referee's particularly happy with the formation there. Sorry, he's come on for James Tyus as Levi Douglas, and Douglas has moved into the second row, so Hodge must have moved to 6. A big chance inside the 22 here for Yorkshire Carnegie.
I think Unavi, if that's how you say it, has moved into the back row there.
You might be right. And London try and get the drive on.
Oh.
They do go through. It's going to be a scrum, and that's for hands on the floor. And there's a couple of groans from the home fans, but that was just a very good drive there from London.
I think it's the Scottish tight head. He's done a great job on Will Vaughan there, and unfortunately they managed to get the penalty, and rightly so. But it's disappointing again, as we say, about field position and chances and taking those, and there's another one gone.
Well, it's Richard Palfreman who was the tight end, managed to win that penalty for his side. You have to feel a bit as well for Will Vaughan. He came on pretty much in the first minute for Graves, who went off with an injury.
He did, but Will's a class act. I mean, he's come up from Bath last week to help us out with the bit of a prop crisis that we've got, and he's been at the club before, and he's a great bloke, and he's a quality player who has got some Premiership caps under his belt as well. So yeah.
And they're taking the time here, London Scottish, almost into clock burn mode. Only 7 points ahead with 23 minutes to play. Very quick charge there. It's passed down off the top of the line-out. Big challenge there on the first receiver. Jacob Perry not really carried the ball very much today. And a big tackle here from
Will Vaughan, yeah.
Will Vaughan, yeah, once again getting involved. Another big powerful tackle, this time from Will Britton. And once again, Scottish are struggling to make any yardage from phase play. Ball's been knocked out, and a big chance here, and it's been stolen for penalty's been given for hands in the ruck. I didn't see any hands in there. That looked as if it just came out from the big powerful drive.
Mike Myerscough hit the lad in the breakdown, and the ball managed to pop out. But
the referee's seen that as hands in the ruck, and well, the assistant referees agreed with him as well by the looks of things.
And it's Craig Mitchell down at the moment, just getting a bit of treatment.
Obviously 22 minutes to go. Score is Yorkshire Carnegie 5, London Scottish 12. And It's been a bit of a stalemate so far in this second half. Neither side has really had a huge chance.
No. It's two teams just don't seem to be keeping hold of that ball at the moment, do they? And it's good for us because I think it's going to come down to the final minutes, and hopefully we can be on the right end of it. But at the moment, yeah, it's gridlock.
Looking at the penalty count, we mentioned how many penalties we've had in this game. It's 9 apiece at the moment, so certainly don't want to be getting into double figures.
Yeah. I mean, that as most teams, but I know we do. We like to keep it in single figures, that penalty count. And with 20 minutes left to go, it's hopefully we can do that. And if we're, as we said, if we're whiter than white in that penalty count, hopefully it allows us to push them back.
As Mitchell is back on his feet, just maybe taking a bit of time.
Looks like a bit of a neck injury there. He's all right. He's back on his feet, as you said, but they're just testing his arm strength there, down the sides and above his head.
Jake Yelnicki will no doubt be watching with interest. I think they may be down at the other end, just warming themselves up. But Mitchell is back on his feet. And they're going to go for touch once again. Jacob Perry, who say tonight, he's had a monster of a boot on him, as Perry.
It's really given some good field position, hasn't it? I mean, if we've been ill-disciplined around the halfway, even inside the half, he's managed to make us pay. But not the biggest one, that time, thankfully.
That one's made it just about to the 22-metre line. The defensive line sets up on the line itself. Bit of a catch and drive coming, maybe. And Yorkshire driving them backwards for a second. But Scottish coming forward once again, and it is being driven back now as it's peeled off. Bit of a chance here for Scottish to extend the lead, to make it. It's been picked up, and once again Scottish have been driven back from that pick and drive. Again, going through the forwards, here's captain Mark Bright, who's spilled the ball backwards. That's been given as a knock-on for Yorkshire Carnegie. That's
a harsh call there, Tom.
Certainly didn't look to come off a Yorkshire Carnegie hand, but it's been given as a Scottish scrum.
It's great ball defence there by Yorkshire, though. Scottish managed to win the ball in behind us, but the reaction from the lads and some of the hits that were coming in there really got it going backwards, as you said.
I think a substitution being made by the visitors. Rory Brand is going to be coming on. It looks like he's coming on in place of Grayson Hart, who came back on with that big piece of white bandage around his ear, so he must have taken a knock in the first half. Obviously one of the instigators of the handbags we had that took up about 2 or 3 minutes of our time.
It's a big scrum now, straight in front of the post, and as they've been doing, they've got it to the back fairly quickly there.
Very solid scrum there from London Scottish. Passes out wide, there's numbers over, and it's just a case of getting another pass through the hands, and London Scottish are over again for the try.
That's a sharp move that by Scottish there, obviously disappointing for us. He got it off another solid scrum. Bright getting it in the hands of Rory Brand, who's come on and looked sharp there, and as I said, it's quite a sharp backs play, and disappointing that.
It's Miles Mantella's second try of the match with 17 minutes, and you have to say, with the way that this match has been going so far, it's looking not particularly bright for Yorkshire at the moment.
No, and it's disappointing, because I think that's probably the first time Scottish have had any sort of field position and been in our half. And I think currently looking at the scoreline, and with about 18 minutes to go, hopefully we don't have to be thinking about those line-outs that we had, that scrum in there, 22, what we got shoved off. But these are the chances, and that's the time when you've got to be ruthless. And I think tonight, or so far in the first 62 minutes, we've not had that ruthless edge, and that's probably why we've only scored one try.
Absolutely, another kick from touch. We know he's got the length on it, but can he get the direction. Looks pretty good. Just missed it though. It does stay at 5 points to 17. A 12-point difference between Yorkshire Carnegie and London Scottish. Looking to go for the quick switch. Going short once again. Chris Elder's going to try and get on the end of it, but it's brought down in the end by a London Scottish pair of hands. The Scottish have possession inside their own half, just in front of the 22-metre line. There's a big gap in the middle of the Yorkshire defence. Yeah. Not sure who's meant to be covering, but they're the back three seem to know what's going on. A bit of a chance for a break here.
That's Rory Brand again, I think. There.
Rory Brand, the substitute who came on only a couple of minutes ago. And out wide it comes once again. Again making a bit of yardage this time, starting to make more yards than they were in the first half, indeed. It's played back, all the way back to put a high ball up. Safe pair of hands there from Louis Brown, and Brown has a chance to go for the dink. Almost an obstruction, but the referee says nothing doing. Brought down in midfield, and London have possession once again. It's been touched, and a big chance. If they can get on the end of the ball, they do get on the end of the ball, and London Scottish have made another 15 metres. Very threatening play here from the visitors. It's back into Scottish hands after another blocked kick. And another big hit there in the centre of the park. Looking to come left this time. Once again. It's Rory Brand with the ball at his feet. Tries to play in his man in the middle, and now Yorkshire have a chance to come back with the knock on, and Chris Elder's just been pushed into touch. It will be a Yorkshire scrum though. Well, you're not really sure what to say about that kind of play. It wasn't disappointing, it was just kind of a bit of a formality as the two kicks were blocked and it bounced back, and London once again found themselves in a very promising area of the field. Yeah,
they did. I mean, they kicked the ball from just outside their 22, and as you say, well taken by Louis Brown, and he gets on a little bit of a run. I think he's just seen a bit of space in behind the front line of the defence, and he's tried to go for a chip, and that's what kind of got Scottish on the front foot there. But a couple of charge down kicks, which obviously ends in the Carnegie scrum, and hopefully we can set this dominance back up that we had in the first half.
Looks like Dino Waldron's come on as Richard Palfreman is just limping off in front of us. Certainly looking like he's in a fair bit of discomfort there. Bit of cramp, I think, at this point. But Yorkshire have the put-in inside their own half. It's gone to ground. Referees just having a word with them once again, and this is all kind of playing into London Scottish's hand, really, because they're happy to wind the clock down. Craig Mitchell's on his knee once again, but he's back on his feet. Another one who doesn't seem to want to give up in this game. Obviously there's still time left, it still can change, but to come back and win this game.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is that last 5-10 minutes of the first half where we really got into Scottish and we started looking promising. I'm hoping that we can find some of that form, because as we've said, the second half there's not a lot that's really happened, and apart from a good backs attack from Scottish at the last scrum, it's the only real action we've seen.
And that's from either side as well, as the ball is just about dug out at the back as the scrum went down. Big chop once again. Passing out wide as Yorkshire have a chance to try and break down the left. They do make it up to the 10-metre line. Has the ball been stolen there? Not quite. I think it might have just been passed on quickly. But like I say, starting to develop a slightly quicker phase of play here with Brazulia on the pitch. Out the back it comes. And once again stepping inside. It's a nice idea, but it's been intercepted. And now Scottish have a chance. They've got a man over. Just about managed to bring the tackle down, and it's Pete Lucock who's got back once again. It's a penalty for Yorkshire for holding on, and what could have been a calamity has turned out to be a very nice defensive play there from the Yorkshire backs.
And that's another great turnover from Pete Lucock. He's everywhere tonight. I think that's, sorry to interrupt you there, Tom, it's just, you can see that from Dan Tem. It's a great run, and the time of the game and the situation has just caused him to force that offload a little bit, and luckily it didn't lead to anything, but Scottish intercepted it.
So the kick doesn't make a huge amount of yardage, only up to the 10-metre line. There is a Scottish player on the ground, just receiving treatment for what looks like cramp. He seems to be in quite a bit of discomfort, so the referee's called time off for just a second. Bit of a catch the breath. But at this stage, how important is the is a break in play to gather yourself, to get people around you to know what you're doing in the last 12 minutes or so?
Well, I don't think it's really about knowing what you're doing, because the lads know what they're doing. We've done it all week, we've done it all season. Normally for the team that's losing, they want to keep the energy high. They don't want these breaks in play. It's normally the team that's winning that's trying to run the clock down there. We want to get some high tempo in, as we said. That's when we're looking best, and hopefully we can get it going in the last 10 or so minutes here.
Absolutely. As Billy Harding's come on for Jared Saunders, so all of the front row has been changed for London Scottish. It's a Yorkshire line out. It's nicely taken in the centre there, and a big catch and drive here. Still inside their own half, but driving nicely. It is going sideways a little bit at the moment. Men over on this right-hand side. As the ball peels around once again, It's been stolen. And a big chance here as Dino Waldron came away with the ball. Bit of a chance for a break. They go out to the right-hand side. A Scottish, they find a nice line, but he's just brought down by Pete Lucock once again. And now they come back to the centre of the field. A big charging run. As the whistle's gone, I think that's a Yorkshire penalty, isn't it?
Pulling him back, I think there, pulling one of the defenders back.
And that makes 10 penalties by London Scott. Makes it 10 apiece this evening. So at least it's consistent. The referee's consistent on either side.
I'm not sure how that ball managed to come out on the Scottish side then from that maul. We must have gone forward 10-15 metres there, and somehow they managed to get in there legally.
You have to say that, look at the kick there from Chris Elder. He's kicked it from 10 metres inside his 22 to the London Scottish half. Now that's a pretty impressive kick, you have to say.
That is a pretty impressive kick.
Good starting field position for the...
That's it, that's what it's about. He's put us in the right area. Let's now back it up and start creating something. I think this is a big chance with 10 minutes left.
Ball's played into the middle. The line-out has been a bit more secure since Donnellan's been throwing in. Like I say, maybe more of a thrower than Joe Buckle. Buckle's not had a particularly bad shift since he moved out of the front row. The maul has stalled, been called once, and Brasilia comes away with it. And that's interesting how the London Irish player managed to get around so quickly, but the referee says it's fine. Carnegie retained possession though, still inside the London Scottish half. They switch play to the left-hand side. They spot there's no one at home in the backfield. It does find touch nicely, and Chris Elder was on the chase. But they're in just outside their own 22 here at London Scottish, so they have to keep the ball in field if they want to kick it away.
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure now. We're asking them to exit, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? Last time they had the exit was when the Scottish lad knocked it on in his own 22. So hopefully we can pressurise the line out, pressurise them, whatever, if they go to play. And really, in these last few minutes, we need something in this defensive set here.
Certainly do. Just outside the 22-metre line. The referee just once again trying to arrange the two lines. As once again it's going to be Billy Harding for his first throw. It's fairly well secure as it's driven to ground here. Referee had his whistle in his mouth for a second, but thought against whatever he was going to do. It was dropped at the back of the line out, and it's been pushed back into the Scottish 22. Once again, trying to clear some space here of the away side, as Rory Brandt is trying to get the box kick away. Or is he going to go all the way back? No, he goes for the box kick himself. He's going to go up for Chris Elder. And well-timed tackle there from the Scottish winger Rob Stevenson. But Yorkshire have possession inside the Scottish half. And it's gone straight through the hands of someone in midfield there. But Yorkshire has still retained possession. Brasilia sees some space out to the left. Simple hand, just been knocked there. It's great.
Here we go, some front football here. Keep the speed of ball.
Big opportunity there as Will Vaughan makes some good yardage. Out the back it comes. It's a 4-on-3 at this point. Pete Lucock just pushes someone over, straight over there. And Lucock's over. And there's a big grab for Brasilia. Brasilia's brought down 10 metres from the line. No scrum half. In comes Louis Brown. Desperate stuff here for Yorkshire Carnegie to get back within a few points. Brasilia's back on his feet. It's going to be a pick and go kind of job from here. Been making good yards so far this evening. As Brasilia once again in position. Pick and drive, plenty of phase play here.
We're making yards, that's the most important thing.
There are slight numbers on this right-hand side if Brasilia can get the pass away. He does this time. Here's Watkins, trying to go for a short pass, but managed to make a few metres himself anyway. Ball is just about there in time. Nicely taken by Will Britton. Pushing through the centre now, trying to drive, keep it on the feet. And he's almost isolated in midfield there. It's once again 10 metres from the line in front of the posts. Yorkshire have to come away with enough points here to get back into the game. And it's been knocked on. And disappointing there, as London Scottish will have the put in inside their own 22.
And that was a big chance there, wasn't it? You know what I mean, we were going forward, every carry was going forward, and the momentum was good, and we went back into midfield. I'm not sure who, but it just really slowed it down, and that got us on the back foot. And obviously Scottish managed to get the turnover, from a knock on from us. But yeah, disappointing there.
It sort of, in a sense, almost sums up the evening for Yorkshire. Been in good field position on a couple of occasions, but just not been able to convert crucially. And you sort of think at this stage, is that what's been affecting Carnegie through certain points of the season as well?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's been a number of things at times. I mean, maybe not all on the same evening or the same time, but it's that ability to keep the foot on the throat, as to use the terminology, to keep that pressure on the team and not really let them off, and that's too well tonight.
Absolutely. So just while we do have a quick break in play, I think we're fairly certain we were meant to discuss this earlier on, but I think there's no doubt in our minds our man of the match this evening is definitely going to be Pete Lucock.
Definitely.
The Yorkshireman who's come back into this team and done a fantastic job this evening. Despite the result, he's been the driving force. The scrum is collapsed, but it's still going to be reformed.
A message on Pete. He's led that defensive line outstandingly, and he's put his body on the line. And whenever he's had the ball in hand, he's mixed it up well between passing and carrying himself. And I think he's made yards. He's had a couple of turnovers at the breakdown. He's just been everywhere tonight. And obviously, it's looking like the result's not going to go our way. But want us to have Pete Lucock back and have him, which shows tonight, on good form.
Yorkshire eventually had the put-in. I think the referee turned the scrum over. I think it was a knock-on at the back of the scrum. And they're going to go wide, and Dan Thames almost in there. He's going to drive towards the line. Now only a couple of metres shy. It goes out wide once again. George Watkins trying to burrow his way over. It's awfully tight. Driving backwards now. Good defensive play there from London Scottish. Once again trying to push their way over. It's put into the hands of the front rower, Dylan Donnellan. Again, Yorkshire not going very far forward at the moment. They're going to go out wide this time instead. Will Vaughan takes the ball in. Now they're going to change the direction of the play. Scottish seem to have a fairly well organised defensive line. A big drive towards the line now. I think it's Dan Tem in there.
Yeah.
Again.
Slowed down.
It's slowed down. And I think London Scottish might have just stolen this one. And again, another one to pretty much show off the missed chances that Carnegie have had this evening. Slowed down once again, and Scottish turn the ball over. Chance for them to get the ball away. Exit as Matt says. London Scottish are just taking the time here. Kicked away. Does find touch. Not got an awful lot of distance on. There's still a chance for Carnegie, and I think the view here might just be the losing bonus point to try and get at least something.
Sad to say, but it looks like we're fighting here for a point, and at the end of the season these may be crucial. So we've got to keep going, and I think the lads are. It's just it's an execution that. Keeping hold of the ball, which has been mentioned as being our Achilles heel tonight.
Just announced the official attendance for this evening. I have to say it's been a good attendance this evening. 1,720 has come out to fill the stands this evening. And Yorkshire gathered the line out, driving, but not really going very far forward. Trying to find something late on. Tom Bullock's right on this wing, almost looking for a crossfield kick if it comes out. And the maul has kind of collapsed a bit. It's going to be a scrum as it was held up. And time has run out, but the referee, I think, is still going to give one more final play. And realistically, Yorkshire need to steal this ball and get over the whitewash.
Yep.
Scottish player down.
And I think you can see, you look at the picture here, do you know what I mean? Carnegie players, hands on heads. They've worked hard tonight. No one can question that. The effort level's there. It's just that execution that has been lacking at times, and probably at crucial times. Mostly inside their 22, which is where you get your points, and that will be the big thing. The positives from the game, I think, defensively. In phase play at least. Our man of the match, Pete Lucox, really led the line well and has given us some dominance there, but in our attack we've just got to keep hold of the ball, and those few more phases we will be able to break teams down.
It's the penalties in the end as well, obviously quite a big penalty count for either side. Like I said, the referee has at least been consistent in that, but you have to say at this stage Yorkshire probably disappointed. It's come down to a couple of missed tackles in the first half of this game, really, because had those tackles been made, then we would be looking at 5-all as it stands.
Yeah, we would. I say that's the nothing. No one means to miss a tackle. No one goes to miss a tackle. Individual error there, but I think we've had enough opportunities as a team, and definitely enough field position and possession to actually come out of here with a win tonight. And it's that main point about looking after the ball in the right areas that we just haven't quite done tonight.
Absolutely, and we mentioned the penalties as well. I mean, obviously, you're trying to get back into it by scoring tries, as many points as possible, but there have been a lot of penalties inside the London Scottish half in the first half and in the second half that have been kickable, and had those kicks been made, it would have been a much closer scoreline.
It would. I mean, traditionally over the past few years we've backed our forward pack to go get tries and to get penalties. That's penalty at scrum time, it's penalty at maul, and then if we're close enough, we'll score those points. And tonight you've got to give it to Scottish. Do you know what I mean? Their maul defence has stopped that. We've probably had about 4 or 5 opportunities, and we've not taken them, and that's something that we'll definitely be looking at in the week going into Coventry.
Absolutely. Coventry next week as well. They're facing off away at Ealing tonight. Not tonight, tomorrow. And that's a bit of a crucial game as well. They're in a similar position. They're mid-table. They're going up against the top of the league as well. And yeah, that again is a big game that you could potentially win.
Come up from winning National 1 last year. They've strengthened well, and they've got a good solid championship team. And we need to go away and use the positives that we've got from tonight in terms of that defensive, the team shape, and really just work on our attack and looking after that ball. I think looking into it, we're going into next week, and we've just got to stay positive. And it's difficult sometimes looking at where you are in the league table and the results that we're getting. But rugby is one of those things. You get another week and you get a chance to go again, and we've got to pick ourselves up and have another bash at it.
Absolutely. And at this stage, form changes through the season. You'd rather have the good form in the middle and towards the end of the season as well, especially when the points may be more crucial. I mean, obviously it's good to get off to a better start, and obviously Yorkshire haven't quite done that, but you would like to have the momentum going over the Christmas period and over into the new year as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this moment in time, I think just points would be nice, and that's why we're staying here whilst we're waiting for this probably the third reset of this scrum to happen. We're playing now for the losing bonus point, and those points do matter. The one thing, the way the league's structured this year, in terms of the break in the middle, there's an 8-week break from the championship, and with new players coming in, it'll give us a chance to gel. As I'm speaking there, it's a free kick to to Scottish at the scrum. This 8 weeks that's coming up will give us a chance for new players to come in, to get gelled. It's almost like a mini pre-season. I think we need to take that. Obviously, we've got one more game left in this block of fixtures against Coventry, and we've got to really go into that with lots of confidence, away from home, and go and get the victory, and then look forward to, as I say, growing as a team throughout that cup competition.
Absolutely. As we say, we're now on to the 4th reset of this scrum. This is the same scrum for the maul that was held up in the end. But London Scottish managed to have the ball. It's their penalty that turned in the scrum. The referee looking at his watch. I think we must be close to the last play now. I think London Scottish will have been just using that scrum to their advantage, and that is time. London Scottish kick it into touch, and it caps off a fairly disappointing evening here at Emerald Headingley.